was your mum's story?
My mum
go on a date.
Yeah, so my mum went on a date and it was horrendous.
All right, let's hear this date then.
So she told me this story, okay, and she came back last night. What?
Crying?
No, she wasn't crying, but she was very, very hungry and she was very depressed.
Oh,
right?
what? She went on a date and she didn't eat.
She didn't. This is it, right? So she went on a date with this guy, right? Now, this guy, he picked her up, right? He took her to like this museum, right? And they went to see the museum and they looked at all these pictures and she said that she thought it was a little bit boring. Like maybe after an hour she was like, okay, right, I get it. You know what I mean? Like it's just pictures of old people like in portraits, just like sitting there like that. So what happened was, right? She was thinking, okay, after we go to the museum, he'll take me to maybe a nice restaurant. We'll go somewhere nice, right? He ended up taking her to the park, right?
Oh,
and he was like, she was like, are you not hungry? Kind of like hint, I'm hungry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she was feeling very hungry at that point, right? So he was like, no, I'm not hungry. Don't worry about me, sort of thing. And she was like, oh, okay, right. Anyway, so he was like, okay, where are we going to sit, right? There was these 2 deck chairs, right, in the middle of this park, right? And she was like, oh, should we go sit there? Because there were no benches or anything like that. And she was like, I'm not sitting on the grass, right? Bear in mind, these people were in like their,
ended up taking her to go sit on the grass.
No. Oh. So he's like 62, she's 58, right? So it's a little bit weird that they're going in the park, in my opinion, right? That's something you do when you're a teenager, right? But this is even worse, right? So,
but it depends what park. If it's like your local park, but if it's something like Hyde Park,
yeah, I know. But it was like, do you remember yesterday? It was kind of overcast, and it was just like boring.
It rained a little.
Yeah, it absolutely chucked it down. Did you not hear the lightning last night?
Oh yeah,
fucking mental.
I was out of it.
Yeah. Oh, were you? It was crazy. I was loving it. I love it when it rains like that.
That was the loudest thunder I've probably heard in the UK.
Yeah. Oh mate, it's sick. I was just sitting there at the window like, oh fuck me, this is. I don't know. It's really like atmospheric.
I was out of it because like my ankle was hurting. I just popped a load of painkillers and just like lay in there. And yeah. And I was like, fuck yeah.
But anyway, they were in the park, right? And it weren't raining at this point. But anyway. He goes, okay, we'll sit at the deck chairs, right? Some guy walks up and he says, oh yeah, it's £6 for an hour to sit on a deck chair, £6 each, right? And he goes, £6 for an hour? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, what if we're not sitting here for an hour? And they go, oh, well, okay. Well, he said, can you give me a refund? Can you give me a refund if it's not for a whole hour? No. And my mum's just standing there thinking like...
The embarrassment.
Like, what the fuck? Right? And so he's going through it with this guy, like, like how much it's all going to cost and all that sort of thing. Bear in mind, right? The guy's got a lot of money. The guy has a lot of money, right? He's well off, okay? He could easily spend that money, yet he's getting caught up on this like shit that doesn't matter. On a
first date or just when you're out with someone, that's when, like, you can't really, like money. Do you remember when like we used to be friends? When we're like we used to go swimming.
Yeah.
And like I know at that time you probably couldn't afford to go like get a meal afterwards. Sort of thing. So I'd always just like pay for you like nothing sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like dates should be like that, just like not caring about like money sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean it's good just if you can do that. I mean I know that some people are but the problem is he is well off.
But like talk about
he has money.
Talk about that beforehand, so not making that like an issue in it.
Yeah.
Because then like it's like that embarrassing situation.
I know.
He's scrimping. With
I know.
£6.
And the guy and he's like, okay, well what if all right, half an hour for £3 each, right? And my mum's like, well, we're going to be here for longer than half an hour. And he's like, okay, you're right? So he pays him £12, right? £12, okay, which is a lot of money, granted, for an hour, but he's got a shitload of money. And
just
also, this is like, I think, this is a date. What are you doing? Why are you, like, getting all caught up on it? Like, it's just awkward, right? She stood there, and he's having a conversation with this guy going, okay, this is a little bit expensive, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, just give him the money, man, right? Well, you got to pay for it. We're not going to sit on the grass. So I end up sitting on this deck chair, right? And she's obviously made it clear. You could have went into
a bar and just sat down for free.
Yeah, go to a restaurant or sit in a bar. Yeah. Don't sit in the park, right? It's just weird, right? And he sits on the deck chairs, right? Which is, maybe he was assuming maybe it might be sunny and stuff. And I said that to her, and she said, no, he knew that it was raining. He checked the weather forecast. He knew it was going to piss down with rain, and yet he still took her to the park. I mean, the whole story of this date is just like ticking off everything that you shouldn't do on a first date.
She's not going on a second date, is she?
No, I've said I'm not going to let you go on the second date, right? So anyway, she's sitting on the deck chair, right? And she's made it very clear that she's hungry, right? And he's like, don't worry, I've got some egg sandwiches.
Oh, fuck off.
By the way, she hasn't ever said or made it clear that she likes egg.
See, I
she
think
might not like egg.
If you were younger, that might be a bit cute. Sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah,
But it's when you're not
he's
older.
62 years old. This guy, you know. Anyway,
When you're older and got money, sort of thing.
it's like, what are you doing? When he said, "Oh, I've got some egg sandwiches for you," she was like, she laughed. She went because she thought he was joking, right? And then he pulled out the egg sandwiches, right? And she was like, they were homemade. He wrapped them in tin foil, and he opened them, right? And he started saying, "Here, you know, this is for you," and stuff. And then he got out a water bottle, just a normal water bottle, right? That he had poured some gin in, right? Some, you know, like
what is this, man?
right? And he was like, "Oh, we can drink in the park."
What is this?
And he got a can.
What is this?
He got a can of Coke, right? And he was like, "Oh, we can put the gin in the Coke, and we can." And my mum was telling me this, and I was just like, "This is unbelievable. This is crazy, right?" Look, all of this is understood and appreciated, and like, it's fine. Maybe if you're like teenagers, that's fine. Sitting in the park, eating some sandwiches and drinking, that's a teenager behavior, right? This guy is 62 years old.
I feel like if it was planned, and sort of thought, like, if it was thought in advance, like, right, let's bring a bottle of like spirits, bring some drinks that we both like, make it an actual picnic.
Yeah.
Not just one guy planning, right, you're gonna eat my egg sandwiches.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna have my gin, and you're gonna have my Coke.
Yeah, she was like,
I'm not gonna buy you food from a restaurant. I'm not gonna buy food from a restaurant. It's gonna be this.
And so right now she's drinking, right, and she's hungry. She's eating these egg sandwiches, the egg sandwiches, it's not very romantic.
Cold egg sandwiches.
Exactly, yeah.
Gin with shitty Diet Coke.
Then it starts raining, right? They're in the park. It starts pouring down with rain, lightning, thunder. It was fucking horrendous yesterday, right? Pissing down with rain, right? He goes, don't worry, I've got an umbrella.
Oh.
He gets an umbrella out. They both run underneath a tree, and they're stood there underneath this tree with an umbrella, just stood there while it's raining, right? On a date in the park in the fucking rain.
I reckon he was having the best time ever. I bet he was loving it. For him, it's a little side quest adventure. Like, he's there just eating his sandwich in one hand, the umbrella in the other, chuffed smile.
But she was telling me this, and I was like, this is mental, right? This is all forgiven if you're like a third of their age.
What, if
but
he's
62.
If he's actually mental, he's forgiven.
If he's actually mental as well, that's another thing, right? But they're stood there on this date underneath this tree,
him? Down
right?
an alley or something.
She said he's a nice guy. She said he sounded nice on the phone. Like, what the fuck?
What did she do? Like, ring up customer service for somewhere and...
Name it anyway. So she stood there under the tree, right? And she says to him, I'm not going to lie, I'm not very happy with this because we stood underneath a tree. And didn't you know that it's not very good to stand under a tree when there's thunder and lightning? Because it increases your chances of getting electrocuted, right? And he goes, oh, I didn't know that, right? So they run out, right? They run out under the tree, right? Then they go to this boat thing, right? Like on the River Thames. It
just sounds so long, man.
Yeah, and she just said, like, it was like the most depressing, like, boring thing ever. Horrendous, just horrible. I can't imagine. Do you imagine going on a date with someone that you just... Like, it's just it's
see,
just
like, even
awkward.
that's why I said
so
that's why I said low commitment stuff is better because let's say if you just go for like something like a coffee or if it's a hot day going for like an ice cream or something you can like chill out, just like mooch around, do whatever, like go sightseeing things, but just a park.
I know, man, how fucking unclassy. And she dressed up all nicely and stuff, whereas he was just wearing a shorts and a t-shirt. And it was just horrendous. They went on this boat, right? And like, there was like this music playing, and she said it was cool, but like she felt like shit because she was with this guy who she had no attraction to or no, like she was just done with him, and she was starving at this point, right? Then he starts dancing in his chair, going like this, right?
Stop.
He's not offered her a drink at this point, so she's like, look, here's my card. Can you go and buy me a drink, please? Like, it's over there, right? He goes, yeah, but I'll pay for it, right? Which is nice, right?
Yeah.
Then he doesn't get it. he just carries on dancing like that. 20 minutes go by after he said he's going to get her the drink, and he's not even bought it, right? And she's sitting there thinking, what the fuck? Then they get off the boat. They go and sit in this restaurant, right? He brings out a cake from his bag, puts it on the table in the restaurant, and he's like, right, let's eat some of this cake, right?
Oh.
And they start eating it.
What are you fucking on about a cake? Why has he brought a cake to a date? A cake? It's like his birthday. He's got no friends. You're fucking with me.
No,
now.
I swear on my life, right? You can ask her, right?
I bet it was like left over, like a slice taken out, and he's like, "Oh, it's from my like ex-girlfriend's niece's like birthday." Or...
No, it's a genuine
Fucking cake.
And then, but they don't have any cutlery, so they're just eating it with their hands. He doesn't ask anyone for any cutlery. And I said to my mum, "Why didn't you ask her for anyone for cutlery?" And she said it was so busy, and she just thought, "Fuck it." At this point, I'm so hungry, I'll fucking eat it, right? And they're in this, so they're sitting in this restaurant, haven't paid for anything. Brought out a cake from his bag, put it on the table, and they're eating it with their hands. So then after the restaurant, right, they leave. She's thinking, fuck this, I need to go, right? Then he's like, should we carry on the night? So they go into this restaurant, right, on their way to like St. Albans or something, which isn't far from where she lives, right? And they're in the Uber, right? And he's like, you know, they're talking and stuff, and she's just like feeling sick because she's so hungry, you know?
Yeah.
And she's just like, I'm not gonna lie, I've got to go. Like, I'm sorry, but I've got to go. And he's like, what's wrong? Like, what do you mean you got to go? No. And she's like, I've got to go. She gets out of the Uber, and I'm just like, good for you. What a horrendous day. She told me about that date, and I just gave her a hug, and I was like, I'm so fucking sorry that happened. That sounds like the most depressing, awkward, horrendous, pointless, just tragic fucking date I've ever heard of in my life.
He's got a cake. He's carrying on a cake.
He's got a cake out.
Something a paedophile would do. I'm not even joking. Something like a fucking paedophile would do.
It's true.
A nonce would do that. Like the Candyman out of flipping that Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah. So I suppose when I asked the question at the beginning of what are all the things that you shouldn't do on a first date, that sums it up.
There we go.
There you go.
Don't be a creepy,
fucking weirdo.
Tight,
yeah,
just
tight.
be free. Just like try and be comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
Do something that's low commitment.
Or maybe accommodate your date.
Yeah.
If she says she's hungry, that might maybe be a hint that you should
try and
somewhere
do stuff
to eat.
that's comfortable. You don't, you know.
Yeah. Granted, he made egg sandwiches, but you know. As maybe you probably expecting something a little bit classier and romantic than egg sandwiches in the fucking park.
That whole day, at my age, if that was planned beforehand, like a picnic style thing,
yeah,
I feel like that could have went so good.
Yeah,
like,
it could have been
bought,
good.
Like,
you see,
red picnic blanket, like checkered, like the thing I'm wearing on now.
Yeah,
and like you actually had an arrangement of food.
Yeah,
got a couple drinks, so that like you know.
Yeah, something light, something chill.
To have gin and coke.
Yeah,
don't bring a cake. A cake's like you're celebrating.
Yeah,
celebrating.
Don't bring a cake.